What's up YouTube, Demi here with another build guide. This is for the Safest Lemon, my low-life RF Guardian. This build's been around since I think like 2.6 or so. But effectively, you are an incredibly tanky Guardian with lots of ES, lots of block chance, lots of regen, and you just run around and burn things to death. So let me just run ahead a quick shaper while we talk about this. You pick Guardian because Guardian gets a lot of defensive mechanics. You get like armor, you get more block chance, you get a ton of life regen and aura effect stuff, and it allows you to just build this really stupidly tanky character. Depending on what meta we're currently in, ES may or may not be meta for the league that you're watching this video in, but regardless of that, the forum guide linked in the description will be kept up to date with whatever the current league mechanics are, the skill trees, all of that good stuff. You can just grab that if you want, but as you can see, we are ridiculously tanky. Most builds, if they try to tank that, they would just die. Yeah, I built this character to be my like Uber Elder farmer, Guardian farmer, stuff like that. And the buffs to movement skills in 3.7 allow it to be much more mobile than it was before. We did lose a little bit of ES in 3.7, but depending on what league and what GGG decides to do in the future, we may get that back. I think I had 16.5k last league. Now I have 16k, because we basically lost the Witch Starter ES nodes. Everything else is more or less the same as before. I think she's supposed to be damaging me right now, but I can't really tell. Leveling a low-life RF Guardian can be kind of annoying. You effectively have to level it as a fire-based caster. I'm probably going to have to, if you're doing a league start with it, you'll have to level it as a life-based fire caster until you have the currency and gear around to like rebuild it as low-life RF. But yeah, you just, once you get it to endgame, it doesn't matter. I would try to aim for at least 8 to 10k ES in league. The more the merrier. RF deals damage based off how much life and how much ES you have, so prioritize getting as much ES as possible basically, and then you just stack burning damage along with that and you're good to go. Fire damage, burning damage, area damage, damage over time, like all that good stuff all helps scale our damage. Oh my god, so much running. I'm probably gonna skip this part. This is taking too long. Or maybe it's useful for those of you that want to see how the build clears. Burn, baby, burn. There's just not that many things in this game that can kill this character. Like, I can tank Shaper Slams, I can tank Uber Elder Slams. I cannot tank Shaper Ball Phase sometimes. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But more or less everything else is just AFK. You can just stand wherever you want and do whatever you want and you'll be fine. It's just a super safe build. It's one of those like workhorse style characters that's been around forever and will be around forever. Just depending on how the meta is will determine whether or not it's a popular build for that league. Right now we are in Path of Melee meta. It's like Melee rework was in 3.7, so it's a lot of Melee builds. But builds like this will always be around. If you like RF, if you like playing degen style builds, then try this one. Melt, please. His beam is better than mine, I'm sad. Alright, friend. Please don't kill me. I don't even know if you can, but please don't. There was my Guardian Ascendancy proc. That spike of regen. Time of Need is so good.
They lied to you, Father. I'm your true memory.
Oh no, the damage, it hurts so good. Aw, I was gonna get 2 beams. I wonder if I can tank both beams, I don't think they stack. Shaper's such a fun boss. And he's gone. We did it! Alright, let's go talk about the character and whatnot. So, as I mentioned, we are a Guardian. That means you're a Templar. You ascend into Guardian later. But we get a lot of good stuff from this. So, let's see. Where would you even start? You start with Time of Need. This gives you 30% life regen over 1 second every 5 seconds, which translates into 6% overall life regen. Really good. You also get some life regen here, some ES here, and you get less effective curses on you, as well as a rotating and remove curses and ailments on you every 5 seconds. Pretty solid. Huge amount of regen. After that, that's normal lab. Cruel lab, you're going to take Radiant Faith. It gives you armor equal to your reserve life, and then ES equal to your reserve mana. So if you have a bunch of mana in life reserve, which I do, you get a bunch of extra flat armor and flat ES. I think I have like 5k armor, yeah, with no armor gear equipped, which is pretty nice. Unwavering Faith is the next thing you take. This gives you 1% phys reduction per aura, and then 0.2% life regen per aura. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 auras right now, which is pretty good. And then for Uber Lab, you're going to take Bastion of Hope. Bastion of Hope is a rotating block buff. Right now I'm capped and now I'm not, right? So you get a plus 50% chance to block every 2 seconds, every 5, which is kind of weird. If you've blocked, you and nearby allies cannot be stunned, which is irrelevant because we cannot be stunned from our amulet. And then if you've attacked recently, you get 10% chance to block all the time. If you cast a spell recently, you get 10% to block spells. So if I use my Orb of Storms, I get spell block. If I use my Shield Charge or Flame Dash or whatever, I now have 37% chance to block. That's pretty good. As for bandits, you're going to want to help all, or sorry, kill all for the 2 skill points. Do that. And then as for your skill tree, this is a little bit confusing because it's all over the place, but we're going to basically just grabbing a bunch of life in ES and then area burning damage type stuff. So we got some life regen here. This is actually a life node, right? And so is this. We're converting both of those to ES with a energy from within. We got some burning damage over here, some more maximum fire res over here, another jewel socket. Get some dex, attack, and cast speed for our shield charge. Some attack and cast speed, area damage, elemental resist. We have 3 keystones, so we're using elemental overload. This is 40% more LE damage if you crit in the past 8 seconds. Righteous Fire only scales off of elemental damage, burning damage, area damage, fire damage, damage over time, and that's it. It doesn't scale spell damage, so this is one of the modifiers that allows us to affect that damage. So every time we drop our Orb of Storms or our Shield Charge crits or something, then we get that 40% more damage bonus, which is really good. We're going to up here for more ES. We have 2 curses. I'm using 1 curse from the Witchfire Brew, which applies Despair. It makes enemies take increased damage over time. And I'm using a Curse on Hit Flammability setup for the negative 45 fire resist. Lots and lots of negative resists here. We're also using Elemental Equilibrium for negative 50 fire res from our Orb of Storms and or Shield Charge. I have a little bit of cold damage on my Shield Charge from, I believe, my ring here. Yeah. And then my Orb of Storms deals lightning damage. If either one of them hits, the enemy gets negative 50 cold res. I'm sorry, fire res. So I get negative 50, negative 45, I'm at negative 95 fire res, and then I get more negative from Scorching Ray, another negative 25 there. It's kind of disgusting how much negative resistances we give enemies. Jewel sockets, of course. We got some more fire damage. We have Zealot's Oath. This allows us to convert all of the life regen that we're grabbing on the tree into energy shield regen. Very, very important note. That's what allows this build to exist. We got some aura effect reservation nodes here. Some more life, or sorry, some more ES, some more jewel sockets as well. More reservation aura effect stuff. Another energy from within. This is to convert the melding wheel. So this is usually 10%, 6% life, but if we use this, it becomes 16% ES. Very good. We have Pain Attunement for 30% more spell damage while on low life, which is 35%. So if you reserve more than 30, or what is that, 65% of your life, you're considered to be on low life, which means you get that more multiplier for your Scorching Ray. We got some ES from which, some more area damage for RF. We got some damage over time, life regen stuff over here. More jewels, more ES, and more aura effect. We have enough aura effect that we get a ton of max res from our purities, as well as a huge amount of stuff from our discipline vitality. The jewel stuff, every rare jewel will be like, you're gonna want to get ES, fire damage, burning damage, area damage, damage over time, generic damage, all of that stuff works. Attack and cast speed's fine. If you need stats, if you need resist, get them on your jewels. But yeah, all of my jewels are like that for the most part. I'm using a Watcher's Eye because I have the 30% increased energy shield recovery rate while affected by discipline. It's the only mod on here that matters, basically. That is a more multiplier to how much you regen ES. So all of the percent stuff on the tree, that's great, but this multiplies all of that by 1.3. It's pretty disgusting. That's the only mod you really care about. If you have a ton of mana, you can also go for the ES, or what is it? Mana as ES with Clarity. That's a really good one, but I only have 1,000 mana, so it's not super important for me. And then you need these energy from withins as well to convert these two wheels. So that'll be the skill tree. Let's go ahead and talk about our gearing choices and whatnot. And Pantheons. Pantheons, I have Soul of Solaris maxed out. This gives us phase reduction while we're doing boss fights. It gives us 20% chance to take less area damage, which is great. You take 8% reduced LE damage. We haven't been hit recently, which actually does apply to your Righteous Fire degen. While you're just running around and one-shotting all of the trash mobs, you get 8% more regen from that, basically. Then I have the Jorah's Sky's Edge to take no extra damage from crits if you've taken a crit recently. So if some enemy gets lucky and manages to get through our block chance and crit us, or if they crit us and we block it, we take no damage from crits for the next 4 seconds. Great. And then you have a 50% chance to avoid ailments, which is like freeze, ignite, shock, that sort of stuff. Wrathcoil gives us phase reduction for each hit we've taken recently. Includes stuff we block, we still get that, so it's 5% reduction most of the time. And if I bothered to get this Arabics thing, we would have, you know, enemies that hit you have 8% reduced attack speed, which is pretty good. I haven't done that yet for some reason. I don't know why. As for the gear choices, so you need 2 uniques, basically. You need a Shavs. Shavs is what allows you to be low life without dying to chaos damage, because it has chaos damage does not bypass energy shield on it. So if I didn't have this, anytime chaos damage hit me for more than 76 damage, I would instantly die. You need this. The poor man's version of this is a Solaris Lorica, but it has 0 ES on it. So if you want to use that and go low life super early, you can, but you'll be super low ES, which means your RF will deal no damage, so I wouldn't recommend that. The second item is you need either an Eye of Chahula or a Presence of Chahula. This is what gives you stun immunity. Presence gives you more overall ES, so if you can afford it, get it. Otherwise, just use the Eye for now. The third unique, which can be replaced, is a Doriani's Catalyst. This gives you up to 132% increased elemental damage, as well as some crit strike chance, some attack and cast speed, which applies to your Scorching Ray, your shield charge. Great. You can craft a rare shaped mace that is better than this, shaped scepter that is better than this when it comes to pure damage, because you can get things like elemental damage up to 60%, damage over time, fire damage up to 80%, stuff like that. As long as it's a total of over 132%, it'll be better than Doriani's for pure RF and Scorching Ray damage. But it's very difficult to do that, so Doriani's is like the cheap option that you can use forever, basically. The rest of your gear is just energy shield stuff, so you're going to want to get gloves with super high ES if you can, right? Prioritize energy shield, resists, and then if you need like dex attack speed, int, stuff like that, great. Intelligence gives you more ES as well. Every 5 int is 1% ES as of this patch. If you can stack intelligence, you'll have more overall energy shield because of it. Boots, same thing. You're going to want ES, movement speed, resist, intelligence if you need it, stats if you need it, whatever. Helmet, same thing. ES, resist, intelligence if you can get it. If you can get an Elder Helmet with like burning damage, conk effect, more elemental damage, less fire res, that sort of stuff, great. It'll give you even more damage and the potential to put your RF in your helmet. I don't have that. I'm just using this for the sheer amount of ES that it gives. Shield, same thing. ES, intelligence, resist, block chance, reduce damage taken for damage over time. You can actually get fire damage on shields and elemental damage on shields now as well. If you want to get some more damage out of your shield, great. Rings, ES, resist. If you can get intelligence plus level of socketed gems for your unsets, great. You will need unsets to socket all of your stuff. You don't need this portal. You need at least 1 unset. And then your belt slot. This is really a really powerful slot. If you can get a shaped belt with the increased shield recovery rate, same as the Watcher's Eye mod that I showed you earlier, it's another multiplicative bonus to how fast you regen. These two things multiply together, which is disgusting. So this gives you even more overall regen. Very important to get, otherwise just go for ES, resist. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the gem links, I guess. You will need to get an aspect of the spider roll somewhere if you want to use it. You don't have to. Like, I have barely any mana left if you can't afford an aspect of the spider craft. Just don't worry about it. You'll be able to actually cast more than once. Like, you'll have a lot of mana left over. So, gem links. Depending on how you're set up, if you have the Elder Helmet with the more burning damage and the conk effect, you don't need those in your RF links. But RF would generally be, you want a Vol Righteous Fire. It gives you both skills, RF and Vol RF. So you can use Vol RF for burst damage, basically. But RF, and then linked to Elemental Focus, Burning Damage, and Conk Effect, that would be a 4 link. And then your 6th link extra would be Arcane Surge plus Swift Affliction, 5 and 6 link. So there's this weird interaction with Righteous Fire where if you use Arcane Surge, it gives the skill gem a duration tag, and that allows you to actually link Swift Affliction to it for the more damage over time. Normally that doesn't work. If you just have a 5 link and not a 6 link, you can just use Efficacy instead of Arcane Surge Swift Affliction. That'll work just fine. Just put it in the blue socket. But your 6th link would be the conk effect / increased AoE. Whichever you're doing. If you're clearing maps, use AoE. If you're not, use conk effect. I'm using a Scorching Ray setup in my helmet. If you had the 6th link Elder helmet, then you put the Scorching Ray in your chest piece so you can get a 6th link Scorching Ray. Scorching Ray, burning damage, efficacy, elemental focus. Your last 2 links would be Swift Affliction and I believe Empower. I don't know. Check the path ability in the description. Or sorry, the forum guide in the description will have the correct links. Other auras, we have Discipline and Vitality linked to Enlighten 4. We have a Purity of Fire with +2 gems, so it's level 23 for that max res. We're using Purity of Ice, Purity of Lightning, and Enlighten linked to Blood Magic, so we can reserve all of our life. And then I have an Orb of Storms linked to a Curse on Hit Flammability setup for the L Equilibrium and the negative fire res, and the chance to crit from Orb of Storms is pretty nice. Like, it hits so fast that you get the crit chance for LE Overload all the time. Last links, you got a Flame Dash. To go up and down ledges, you can use the actual dash skill if you don't like Flame Dash's chance to apply LE Equilibrium. Sometimes it's annoying. And then I have a Shield Charge, Fortify, Faster Attack setup. These are all in Insanity Gloves. You don't need Insanity Gloves, it just means that you Shield Charge and Flame Dash faster. Your jewel in your Abyssal belt, if you can get a Shaped Abyssal, which is only in Standard most likely. If you don't have this, just put it in your tree somewhere. But you're going to want to have at least one jewel that looks like this, with ES, damage over time, onslaught on kill, and damage we killed recently. Prioritize the onslaught on kill, because it's 20% attack, cast, movement speed, which is a huge clear speed bonus. And after that, go for the ES damage nodes, but it's just really nice for clearing. If you want to do pure boss farming, I have a jewel like this, which is more ES, damage over time, and life regen while moving, so that when I'm dodging around in Uber Elder and whatnot, I have a little bit more regen. But for mapping, I usually use the onslaught jewel. Flask stuff. You need a Fire Flask, Ruby Flask. This gives you less fire damage taken, which applies against, like, with your max fire res, so you take barely any damage from your RF at all. Pretty good. We have a Sulfur Flask for the life regen and the damage. If you're on Consecrated Ground, you get, I think it's 6% extra life regen, something like that. Let me check. Yeah, it's quite a bit of life regen. I'm also using a Ruby's Concoction for the block chance, which you don't really need, but I like having the block chance up all the time. If you don't like this, you can swap it to a Basalt Flask or a Granite Flask would work just fine. Movement Speed Flask, and then a Witchfire Blue for the damage over time and the Despair aura during Flask effect. If you can't afford this flask for whatever reason, just drop these nodes until you can. It's fine, that'll work just fine. You will need a Freeze Flask, a Bleed Flask somewhere, so it doesn't matter which area you put those on. As long as you have both of those, you'll be fine. And I think that's basically the whole character. It's a lot of information to digest if you want the written form. Again, the path ability is in the description below this video, in the forum guide. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the forum guide or send them as a comment here, whatever, it's totally up to you. If you need more help, my Discord is linked in the description below as well. My stream is as well if you want to come follow me on Twitch. And if you want to support me in what I do, I'm a full-time creator. My Patreon is linked down there as well as a bunch of like other sponsorship stuff, like Humble Bundle's down there, MeUndies is down there. If you want some onesies or socks or underwear, or you want to buy some games from Humble Bundle, feel free to check that out. I would greatly appreciate it. We also have merch if you want to get some Painbane merch. Lots of good stuff to check out in the description. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoy Righteous Fire Guardian, and I'll see you next video. That'll be me out.